Tips for a successful English interview. Job interview in English can feel intimidating, especially if it's not your first language. However, with the right preparation and mindset, you can perform confidently and make a strong impression. Here are some essential tips to help you succeed in an English interview. Understand the company's culture. International companies often have unique workplace cultures influenced by their home country. Research the company's values, work ethic, and management style. Use platforms like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, or the company's website to gather insights. Understanding cultural norms, such as formality, punctuality, or communication styles, can give you an edge. Review the job description thoroughly. International job descriptions may include unfamiliar terms or responsibilities. Clarify every part of the job listing and ensure you understand the qualifications and expectations. Pay attention to specific language requirements or international experience preferred by the employer. Polish your English or relevant language skills. If the interview will be conducted in a language other than your native one, often English, it's crucial to practice speaking clearly and confidently. Focus on fluency, pronunciation, and industry-specific vocabulary. Consider doing mock interviews with a friend or mentor, or use language learning platforms to fine-tune your skills. Prepare for time zone differences. When scheduling the interview, confirm the time zone and double-check your local equivalent. Punctuality is especially important in international contexts, as it reflects your professionalism and respect for different cultural expectations. Practice common interview questions. While core interview questions may be similar worldwide, international employers might emphasize adaptability, cross-cultural communication, and global experience. Prepare answers that reflect your willingness to learn, cultural awareness, and past experiences working with diverse teams. Example questions to prepare for. How do you adapt to new environments? Tell us about a time you worked with a multicultural team. Why do you want to work with a company in our country? Highlight international readiness. If this is your first international role, emphasize traits like flexibility, curiosity, and open-mindedness. Demonstrate that you've researched the country and show excitement about integrating into the work culture. Be aware of work authorization. Understand visa requirements or legal permissions related to working abroad. While the employer may handle these logistics, being informed can show initiative and preparedness. Dress professionally, even for a virtual interview. If it's a video call, dress appropriately from head to toe. International standards usually lean toward formal business attire, unless told otherwise. Ensure your environment is quiet, well-lit, and free from distractions. Follow up with a thank you. Send a thank you email within 24 hours. A well-crafted message reiterating your enthusiasm and summarizing key points discussed can leave a strong final impression, especially in cultures that value courtesy and professionalism. Final thoughts. Your first international interview can be both exciting and nerve-wracking, but preparation will build your confidence. Think globally, research thoroughly, and present yourself as someone who is not only skilled but also culturally aware and adaptable.
Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into navigating English language job interviews for international roles.
Yeah, it's a common challenge. We've looked at some great advice on how to really succeed here.
Right. And it's interesting, isn't it, how some interview basics are, totally universal, but then you add that international layer.
And things get more complex. Culture, logistics, demonstrating adaptability, it all comes into play.
Okay, so let's jump in. First up, company culture. We always hear research the company, but what does that really mean in an international context?
Well, it goes deeper than just the mission statement. For international firms, their, let's say, home country's business culture often really shapes things. Their values, the work pace, management style.
So you're saying look beyond the official website.
Definitely. Use tools like Glassdoor, LinkedIn. Try to get a feel for how decisions are made. Is it top down? Is consensus important? That kind of thing.
And understanding those unspoken rules, like formality, punctuality, how direct people are.
Exactly. Knowing these norms gives you a huge advantage. It shows you've done your homework, that you have cultural awareness.
Could you give an example, like how communication style might differ?
Sure, in some cultures, speaking over someone slightly shows engagement, you know. In others, it's incredibly rude. Researching this helps you calibrate how you speak and listen in the interview itself.
Okay, makes sense. Let's talk about the job description then. Anything specific international applicants should scrutinize?
Yeah, sometimes you'll find terms or responsibilities that aren't common in your own country, maybe related to local regulations or industry practices there.
So don't just skim it.
Right, don't assume anything. If something's unclear about qualifications or duties, it's okay to ask for clarification. Better than making a wrong assumption. And look closely for specific language needs, or if they mention wanting international experience.
Which brings us to language skills. Assuming English is the interview language, fluency isn't the only goal, is it?
Not at all. Clarity and confidence are huge. Work on pronunciation so you're easily understood. And definitely brush up on industry-specific vocabulary. Jargon can vary.
Any tips for practicing?
Mock interviews are great. Even just recording yourself. Language learning apps can help too, especially with specific vocab or pronunciation points.
Good advice. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The practical side. Logistics. What trips people up here?
Oh, time zones. It sounds basic, but you absolutely have to confirm and double-check the interview time in their local time zone.
Right. Punctuality is pretty universal. Getting the time wrong is a bad first impression.
A really bad one. It suggests you're maybe not detail-oriented or respectful of their time. Also have some awareness of work authorization or visa stuff.
Even if the employer handles the paperwork.
Yeah, you don't need to be an expert, but showing you've thought about the legal right to work there demonstrates an issue. It shows you're serious.
So the interview itself, preparation is key, obviously.
Mm.
Any specific types of questions to anticipate for international roles?
Definitely prepare for questions focusing on adaptability, cross-cultural communication skills, that sort of thing. Like, tell us about a time you adapted to a new environment, or describe working with a multicultural team, or even simply, why do you want to work for a company based in this country?
Makes sense. What if it's your first time aiming for an international job? You don't have that direct experience yet.
Then you highlight what I'd call international readiness. Talk about your flexibility, your curiosity about other cultures, your open-mindedness. Show you've researched their country and you're genuinely enthusiastic about, integrating into that specific work culture.
Good angle. And presentation, especially for video calls.
Professional attire is still the standard, even on video. Unless they specifically say otherwise, err on the side of formal business wear.
And the setting.
Crucial. Quiet room, good lighting, make sure the background looks professional, no distractions. It all contributes to the impression you make.
Okay, last step. The follow-up. That thank you note. How important is it internationally?
Very. Send a polite, professional email within 24 hours. Reiterate your interests, maybe briefly mention a point you discussed. In many cultures, this is seen as like standard professional courtesy, and skipping it is noticed.
Right. So wrapping up our deep dive, the key takeaways seem to be deep research on culture,
Understanding the role inside and out,
polishing those language skills beyond just fluency,
nailing the logistics like time zones.
and really delivering in the interview and following up thoughtfully.
Exactly. It's about presenting yourself as not just skilled, but also as someone who's globally minded and ready to fit in.
So thinking about all this, what single aspect of international workplace culture, if highlighted well by a candidate, do you think could make the biggest positive impact in that interview? Something for you all to ponder.